So welcome to our slow flow class, and this one's a playful flow. So we're going to be embracing our inner child and starting to, get a bit, get out of the seriousness of yoga and into having a bit of fun with it. If you feel like something's not right, obviously, as per usual, please pull yourself out of a pose and, either come to a resting position like child's pose, shavasana, any of those. And if it feels okay for you to do so, obviously play with it. You can obviously adapt as you need. One thing I am going to recommend today is actually having a brick or block handy if you have that at home. If you don't, I would recommend something like a book or a board games. We only really need one. But it will, I think, make the poses slightly easier. So we're going to start in a comfortable seated position. And so option to place something like a brick block cushion underneath your bum, if that feels good. Any position that feels good, doesn't have to be cross-legged. So just allowing yourself to settle down. Maybe if you are in cross-legged, perhaps moving that fleshy bit of your bum, just allowing the sitting bones really to ground down into the earth. Take a deep breath in as you close your eyes and see if you can extend that spine up towards the sky. And as you exhale out, perhaps through the mouth, just allow yourself to sink a little bit further into the floor. Just a couple of these breaths, breathing in to extend through the spine, breathing out to settle down, starting to come into this moment. And just starting to turn your attention inwards, focusing on your physical self, noticing how you're feeling, observing. And starting to focus on your breathing, observing your breaths without trying to change anything. And just bringing yourself back into the room. And moving yourself around, you're going to find yourself in a kneeling position. So bringing your bum to your heels, knees are hip distance apart. So we're going to work our way through a little flow here, using the breath and the movement together. So we're going to inhale up. Again, I'll talk you through it. We'll go through it slowly to start with. And then we're going to exhale into our cat pose. So arching the back, finding that angry cat, tummy towards the spine, tucking that tailbone under. And then we inhale into our cow pose. So tilting that bum up in the air, bringing the belly towards the earth, shoulder blades together. And then we exhale down into a child's pose. Option to, again, stretch those arms out in front. Inhale here. And then you exhale to roll yourself back up to your kneeling position. So we're going to do this a few times. I hope you can get into your own rhythm. We'll do it together to start with. And then if you want to work with your own kind of pace and breath, please go for it at any point. So starting together, inhale up. Exhale into your cat pose. Inhale, cow. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale in your child's pose. Exhale, roll yourself up to kneeling. Inhale up. Exhale, cat pose. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, child's pose. One more time for luck. Inhale up. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, child's. Inhale, pause. Exhale, kneeling. Just allowing yourself to roll through your shoulders. Taking a moment and then bringing the hands onto the mat. We're just going to start to add a little bit of free movement in. So we're coming into our all fours position, wrists underneath shoulders, knees underneath hips, and just having a little circle around. So I want you to start thinking about rolling through those wrists, so starting to get them warmed up, as well as into your hips. So you can create whatever movement feels good. You can be quite slinky with it, whether it's figures of 8, rolling round, moving back and forward. Have a little play with your body. See what feels good for you. Perhaps tucking the toes, playing with that. And then bringing the hands around. So again, they don't have to be all the way around, but looking to get that wrist stretch. So fingertips coming towards the knees. Movement might be slightly less in front, but just starting to get a little stretch through those wrists. Beautiful. Bringing those hands back around. And again, choosing how you want your feet. You can have them, can keep them tucked if that's more comfortable, or otherwise tops of the toes to the ground. We're going to play with a little bit of dynamic thread the needle. So pressing through into your right hand. Inhale the left arm up and out to the side. And exhale it down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up, really opening out to the side. And then this time we're going to scoop through. Exhale, bring that hand through to the opposite side, back of the hand to the floor, left hand side of the face down to the earth. Option to walk those fingertips forward, the right fingertips forward, and perhaps bringing the right foot back if you want to add a little bit of extra play and balance into this pose. Pausing for a couple of breaths. Just feeling a gentle stretch through the shoulder. And if you brought that leg back, gently bringing it down at the knee, starting to walk the right fingertips in, and then gently inhaling the arm back out to the side. Exhale it back to center. We're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. Just recenter yourself if you need to. Slight tuck of that tummy in, keeping those hips nice and square to the floor. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up and out, stretching out through the side. Exhale down. And then inhale up and out, pause at the top. Exhale, scoop that hand all the way through, bringing the back of the arm to the floor, right side of the face down to the earth. And once you're there, option to walk those right fingertips forward and bring the left foot back. Adding again a little bit of sense of play in this pose with a little balance. See what it feels like. If that feels too much, just choose another option or come down with the knee and just stay in the centered one. One more breath. Bringing down that knee if it's up, bringing the left fingertips back if they were forward, and then inhaling the right arm up and out to the side. Exhale down. Beautiful. Really, really nice. And then we're going to step ourselves up into our downward facing dog. So bringing the hands palm distance forward, hinging up with those hips and really pressing up and back. Taking a moment perhaps to pedal through the legs. You can really be quite funky with your downward facing dog. So if you want to add a little bit more of a wiggle of the hips today, taking any movement that feels good. When you're ready, just walking the feet up to the hands. We'll end up in a forward fold at the top of the mat, keeping a generous bend in the knees. And again, perhaps having a little sway from side to side. You can grab opposite elbows, whatever feels good. And then pressing the feet into the hands, keeping a bend to the knee, rolling yourself up slowly, uncurling yourself up into your standing position. Taking a moment to adjust the feet, looking for the feet to be hip distance apart. And this is where the block or brick will come in handy. So just having that handy by the top of your mat so that it's within arm's reach for a little bit later in our sequence. So we're going to work through a variation of a sun salutation, but I'd say there's quite a few different elements of play with this. So some of it will be familiar, some of it less so. So starting with me, inhaling the arms up, exhale through the midline, Inhale, halfway lift. And then we're going to step back. So bring the hands to the floor, step back with the left foot, bring the left knee down to the earth. Familiar so far, right? Inhale the arms up, coming into your lovely low lunge. So tracking that right knee above right ankle, pressing the hips towards the front, an option to engage the left bum cheek. Pausing here just for a moment, enjoying the stretch. Really good pose for muscle recovery, stretching everything out. And then what you're going to do, and there's a couple of different ways to play with this, we're going to twist from the middle of the back and just bring the left hand onto the left knee. With this right hand, you can either bring it down onto the leg behind you, or you can tuck it around. So trying to find this kind of bind or kind of opening. So either having it on the hip or bringing the arm so it's kind of snaking around the bottom of your back. Again, just enjoying this sensation of a stretch. And then bringing your hand and perhaps finding that brick or block, placing it on the floor to the inside of that left foot. You're going to press your hand into that block, tuck the toes under, press that leg back, and then curl out to find yourself in twisted dragon pose. So the twist is the same twist as you were in, you're just in a slightly different position with the body. Again, pressing away with that back heel. Strong pose here. One breath. And this is where it gets a little bit funky. So I'm going to recommend that we bring the hands down to the hips just for a little bit of ease. We're going to fan the front foot towards the side of the mat. So I've just pivoted it out towards the right hand side. And then you're going to come onto your back foot. Nice. And then option to bring that arm up. So you should be feeling a stretch into this area. Quite a strong pose. We stay here for one breath, don't worry. Option to bring that hand down to the hip. And then you're going to, again, copy me, coming down onto your bum. So it's a bit of a play. You can see my mat's gone everywhere. So allowing yourself just to come and sit, and you end up with your leg crossed on top of one another. So again, come down another way if it feels more comfortable. It's a sense of play today, so don't worry if it doesn't feel right. Choose something that feels good for you. And then let's play with the arms here. So option to be in an open twist, to stay, if you came down the way that I did, then you'll be in this kind of position. So the twist is towards your left thigh. If you'd like to change the twist, you can inhale and then exhale across to the opposite side. See what feels better for you. Open twist feels good for me today, so I'm going to stay here. One more breath wherever you are. And then if you went for the closed twist or towards your knee, you're gently going to bring yourself back. Perhaps move the brick or block gently to one side. Press your hand into the floor and press the right foot into the floor as you come onto the side of the left foot, or it could even be the whole of that foot, but often the side of the foot's better. Pressing yourself up. Again, we're not staying here for very long. Option to bring the hand up. So we're coming into the side plank modification, shoulders just above your wrist, and then rolling yourself around, coming back to find your downward facing dog. Option to come down to child's pose or just hold here for a couple of breaths. See how you're feeling. And then when you're ready, you can walk, step, or jump up to the top of the mat. So yeah, either shuffle, walk, jump, or you're welcome to raise the left leg up and bring it up towards the front of the mat, and then step yourself into your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. And then gently roll yourself up, hinging yourself up to the top. Exhale to heart center. Wonderful. Did super well with that. I know it's challenging. Let's go. We're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. So just again, having a play, having this sense of curiosity with it and embracing what feels good for your body. So if it doesn't feel good, we're going to just kind of work with it, come into a different variation of a pose, come into your child's pose, whatever you want. So when you're ready, inhaling the arms up, exhale through the midline. Inhale, halfway lift. And this time we step back with the right foot. So the left foot to the front, inhale the arms up. Find yourself in your low lunge, again, pressing the hips forward, feeling this opening out through the chest, option to engage through that right bum cheek. Pause here. Inhale to grow a little bit taller, and then we're going to exhale that right hand down to left knee, and then option to snake that hand just behind, or if it touches the back foot, you can, or leg, you can bring it either onto the thigh, onto the calf. I'm going to bring it around because that feels more comfortable for me. Play with what feels good here. And then we're going to spin. So this is where you might, again, need your brick or block. Hopefully it's still by the front top of your mat. Spinning that left foot around towards the left-hand side. Spinning yourself onto that back foot. So again, it's quite a strengthening pose here. Option to keep the hand where it is, perhaps come onto the hip. And then this is where it gets a little bit complicated. You're going to allow yourself basically to fall down onto your bum, coming into this twist. Again, if that doesn't feel comfortable, just gently bring yourself down and find yourself into cross-legged with the left foot over, extended right. Wonderful. Keeping that spine nice and tall. Option to be in the open twist. So with the left arm against the left leg and kind of spinning out towards the side. Or if you'd like to twist over towards the knee, you can do that. So have a little play with which twist feels good for you today. One more breath. And then moving that brick or block out the way, bringing the hand down to the ground. So we're coming up to find our modified side plank. And we're going to effectively press into that left foot, press into the right, the side, the edge of the right foot. So coming up into our modified side plank, option to bring the hand up, hand on hip, not here for long. Don't worry, it's a strong one, engage through your tummy. And then we roll on over, find ourselves back in our downward facing dog, pressing that bum up and back, perhaps enjoying a wiggle, a bit of release, a little rock from side to side. You can rock front and forward. And then when you're ready, gently releasing the knees down to the earth and choosing a variation of child's pose that feels good for you. So option to go into that wide-legged one, arms out in front. Again, option to have a little wiggle in this pose. Notice what it feels like on the forehead, on the hips. And then gently walking your hands back up towards you. We're going to bring ourselves onto our bums. Just a couple of stretches to finish off. So let's start with that left foot out in front, right foot into the inner thigh. We're going to inhale the arms up. Exhale over, so leading with the heart, hinging from the hips, coming forward. So we're working our way towards the toes, but it doesn't matter if you're nowhere near. Just allow the hands to rest, perhaps on the floor or on the leg, wherever they want to go. An option to play with a little ladder here, if you like. You can inhale yourself up a little bit, exhale over, inhale up, exhale over, and almost allow the hands to glide up and down the leg. Just starting to work a little bit with your flexibility. Pausing the next time that you're down. One more breath. Keeping those toes coming towards the shins. And then rolling yourself up, picking up that right foot, bringing it up and over the left leg. And again, we played with the open and closed twist in our position on the earth. So let's do the same thing again. Option to spin out towards the left-hand side. So bringing that left arm against left knee. You might want to work with that today, so a more open twist. Or if you prefer, you're going to, again, use that spine nice and tall and go across to the other side. So twisting towards the bent knee. Option to hug it in, perhaps bringing the hand over to the opposite side. Our half Lord of the Fishes pose. Bringing the toes of the left foot towards the shin, keeping that nice and flexed. And using the hand behind you to help keep that spine nice and tall. One more breath. Keeping yourself back to center, whichever twist you're in, open or closed. And we'll gently swap legs over now. So bringing left foot into the inner thigh of the right, extending that right foot out to the front, the toes coming towards shins. Inhaling the arms up, exhaling over from the hips. An option to work with that laddering. So if you want to, you can kind of roll up and down, inhaling up, exhaling down. Having a play with your stretch, so keeping a little bit of dynamic movement, or just holding the fold, whatever feels good for you today. Staying down for a couple of breaths if you were doing that laddering. And then gently rolling yourself up, picking up that left foot knee, bringing it up and over. So finding that twist, pressing the foot into the floor, bringing those right toes towards shins. Inhale yourself up, an option to find the open twist. So left arm towards the left knee, open twist out to the side, or inhaling up, exhaling over towards that bent knee. Gently, one more breath here. And gently rolling yourself back to center and coming into your preferred position to finish. So option to keep the feet out in front, or you can come back to a cross-legged position. Closing down the eyes and returning to your deep belly breaths for a few rounds. Allowing this sense of playful practice to kind of settle itself in your body. We're going to finish our practice by inhaling the arms up to the sky. Exhaling the hands down to heart center, bowing the head towards the hands, feeling the mind and body connect. And when you're ready, gently blinking yourself back into the room and hopefully ready to embrace the day ahead with a sense of joy and playfulness that hopefully you can take off the mat. So yeah, thank you very much for practicing with me, and I look forward to seeing you very soon.